Yeah. Bitches be ballin'. We're back, baby. Episode 9. And how you doing, Kayla?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Good. Are you surviving the holiday rush?
Oh man, it has been hard. I'll tell you that,
Yeah.
especially like retail, but getting through it.
Oh
Yeah.
my God. And you're still keeping up with all your articles and your pods.
Oof.
You're
I'm
tweeting.
trying.
Yeah.
The tweets, yeah. I've lacked a little bit over the past couple of weeks just because life is busy, but starting to get back into it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're recording this while the cup final's going on. So we're house divided on the cup, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. And we can get into it with our guest. We've got another guest episode, another bitches be ballin' league manager, the great Bethany,
Let's bring her on.
B-Bin, B-Bin as she's also known in some places. So welcome, Bethany.
Hi.
What's up?
Nothing much. Bouncing a lot of leagues, kind of regretting it. I'm like,
Uh-oh.
I kind of go through like a high in the beginning or like before it starts, and then I kind of hit a low, and then like low in terms of like engagement with my leagues, and then at some point I pick back up, and then like it's like kind of a cycle because I before the season starts, I'm like really excited, so I join way too many leagues, and then like I'm riding the high, and then it becomes overwhelming, and then I kind of dip, and then it kind of comes back up, and then I dip again, and it's like this cycle throughout like the entire fantasy season for me.
I do
So
the
you're
exact
dipping
same
right now.
thing.
I'm on a dip right now. I'm on a dip. I'm on like let me just auto start my lineups, and then every once in a while I'll see if I need to pick someone up if I'm injured, but it's not like checking multiple times a day that I when I'm on a high when I usually do.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially like when you're really busy, it can get really overwhelming. So I totally understand those dips. And I think a lot of players go through the same kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like when you're like it's like the holidays when like you kind of get out of your routine. Like if you're off and you're vacationing, you just kind of like fall, and then like you're like, oh well, I didn't do well last week, so I'm kind of don't care this week either. And then at some point, then you start to gain traction. You look at it and you're like, okay, like if I go like 5-2 the next 7 weeks, I can get in playoffs, and then you start like picking back up again. And it's like it happens to me every season, especially when I got to a point where I was joining too many leagues. Like like I would just go through these waves of like engagement, disengagement, engagement, disengagement, and that's kind of how it is for me.
How many leagues are you in this year?
21. I will say like half of them are like dynasty leagues. So like
okay.
less. You don't have to do
Still.
as much work, and then like half of those dynasty leagues I'm like tanking, so like I'm trying to lose those games anyways. So like if we're talking about like leagues that I actively have to check, it's about 10, 11 ish.
That's amazing. Like how do you manage that all?
Crazy.
Like I'm doing 11 and I thought that was a lot and it is, but that's stressing me out. So I can only imagine like 21.
I think it's like having like a routine. Like even in my disengagement eras, every morning when I wake up, it's like one of the first things I do. Like I make sure like all my guys have started, and then I have notifications for like when guys are like out, injured, whatever, and then like I think the hardest part is remembering which team, like which guys you have. Like like when you have 21 teams, you might as well have the whole league. And like it's remembering, like let's say I see like Kobe White is out. I have to remember which team is Kobe White on. Like is it on Fantrax or is it on Yahoo? Is it like which one of my leagues? And so like that's probably the most time consuming part. But like I think even in my disengagement, like I have a sort of routine where I will every morning when I wake up, I'll go check. And then usually on the weekdays, like games start around like 4 p.m. PST. So like at around like 3, I'll go through my lineup, see if anyone's out, and then like kind of go from there. It's difficult in the leagues where you can't do same day ads, then like I'm kind of behind. Like, like in like, like FBI, I think they only process like once or twice a day, or like same thing with like Locked On. When it comes to those leagues, then I kind of really fall behind because like I can't do the instant ad of like streaming. So I like how it is in Bitches Belling because like I can just like I can even in my like disengaged, like I can just like if at 3 I see someone that I want, swap it out quick and easy and done.
Yeah, that's definitely the hardest part. Like just remembering like who's on what team. Like I was
Yep.
talking with my coworkers the other day, and he was talking about like some players, and I was like, "Do I have them? I don't know." Like I
Yeah.
had to go check my team. He was like, "Yeah,
Uh,
this guy did really well for you," and I was like, "He did? I didn't know I had him. I thought you did." And it's so embarrassing, but like it just happens with having so many leagues.
yeah. Yeah. It's also like because you're in so many leagues, you're also playing a lot of different people. So
Mhm.
like maybe a guy goes off for your team, but in some other league, that same player is going off on your team. So it's like very it's almost like having so many leagues, you start to become detached to players, like because you can't really be too attached because like somebody else might have them too. Like you can't like I could cheer for again Kobe White, for example, like but maybe Kobe White's destroying me on the other side as well. So you kind of have to. I think
Totally.
the more leagues you're in, the more you kind of just forget about it because there's just like if you have one league, you have two leagues, you can really stand behind your guys and like I'm cheering for these guys every single night. But like, when you have so many leagues, like at some point the permutations are gonna, like it never lines up. Like, you can cheer for someone and they're going off on you. So like, I think, you know, it's almost like being kind of jaded. Like when you're in so many leagues, you kind of feel. I don't know. I don't know if you feel the same way, but like it's like the more you're doing it, the less you're like attached to it, really.
And honestly, it almost feels like a double-edged sword because, like, in one of your leagues, like you want one person or one guy to go off, and then in
Yep.
another league, you're playing against that person. So
Yep.
it's like, well, what do I
Yep.
want here? And
Yep.
yeah, I totally get it. It's really,
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you inevitably become more, I don't know, like are there some leagues where you just want to win more than the other leagues? Because I find like I'm in, I don't know, 8 leagues. Some leagues I care about more than others just because the competition. I don't know.
I like to win my friends leagues for sure. I
Yeah.
think whichever one has the highest payout, really. And I think format also matters a lot. Like, points league, you kind of like honestly for points league, I draft off of hashtag. So like, I load up hashtag and whatever the projection is, it's usually pretty good. Like I'm doing pretty well in my points leagues, and like in points leagues, you feel like you built that team less. So it's like even if you're winning in them, you don't really feel a sense of accomplishment, especially because of the way that I do it. Like I'm just going off projections. So like like I would say like I care a lot about my category leagues. Like I'm making sure I'm starting those leagues, and then like whichever one is the higher buy-in is probably the one that gets the most attention, and then um I would say like the most important is like if I'm in a league with people I know, definitely want to win because like when I'm in a league with my coworkers, like I want to win. Like you want to have a reputation as someone that is like not just like mailing it in.
What's the highest buy-in that you had this year?
This year, probably 100. I have a couple $100 leagues. A couple years ago, I played in a 250 those Yahoo public leagues.
Damn.
Oh, that's a lot of money.
I think when you have a lot of leagues, it's best to. I think 100 is probably my max. I think if you do something like 250 or 500, it's like too much in one basket kind of thing. Because like one injury or like one bad pick or like you know you could be doing really well and then just have a shitty playoff schedule. Like that could all ruin like a $500 buy-in. So I think over the years I've learned that like 100 is probably like when you win first place in $100 leagues, it's usually like almost 1,000 or like 800, 900, and like that's pretty good. Like that could cover your entire year's worth of entries. So like from like my experience, I think 100 is like a sweet spot for me in terms of buy-in. Not all of mine are 100. I have a couple. A lot of them are like 50. I try to for my fantasy leagues, I try to stay under $50 because like again, like a lot of those leagues, you have to tank like if you are rebuilding, so like you don't want to pay $100 every single season to tank. So like I kind of have a rule for myself where it's like if it's a redraft, it's 100 is probably the max, and then if it's a dynasty, 50 is the max.
Yeah, this year I had my first $100 buy-in because usually I'll either do like free leagues just casually, or we'll do like $20 to $50.
Mhm.
So when I saw like $100 was the buy-in, like I almost shit myself a little bit. So I was like, damn, like that's a lot of money. And it was also in US currency too. So for Canadian, that's a little bit more. So I was like, oh damn, I better win this league.
I hope you're
But
doing
it's
well
with a
in that
bunch of
league.
better. I'm actually doing pretty good. It's the Roto League that we're in, Yuri.
That was
Yeah,
$100
it's that
bucks.
one. I'm pretty sure it was 100. Yeah.
I don't remember. Really?
And at first
Yeah,
I was
you're
like,
up
oh, gosh,
there.
should I do this? I'm third right now, I think, last I checked. So it's not bad. But...
I'm dialing down my games because I think most of the people in that league, it's an industry league.
Yeah.
They're like way maxed out on games. Like you guys are going hard. I got a little strategy. I think I'm going to save up some games and then come on at the end. We'll see.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It goes like so up and down too. So like there's still so much time. I haven't really
There's
made
less
many
variation now. Like the standings are pretty stable, I've noticed.
There's like slight shifts though, like at the top, middle, bottom. Like I keep going up and down between like third and fifth. So it keeps like shifting.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. It's pretty kind of set in stone, like the general ranges.
Yeah. Losing Franz Wagner is gonna fuck me though. So I have Kawhi in the bank. I'm just hoping Kawhi comes back, but Franz going down like kind of screwed me.
Remember when Kawhi was like questionable for opener?
The start of the game or season,
yeah. They were like, oh, he's questionable. He like might make it for.
It's so fucked
opener.
up. You're just straight up lying.
Liars. Yeah. That's ridiculous.
Bethany, what do you think about the Locked On head-to-head league format? Are you using all 40 games max every week?
Yeah,
you are.
Yeah. It's annoying. I don't like. I know you have a grid and everything, and like I am too lazy to set it up. I literally will like use the Fantrax UI to calculate like which games to place in every single position. I would say that is
fucking Excel is your friend, Bethany.
Yeah, I don't know. For all the effort that I put into because I pay for Basketball Monster as well as #basketball. Like for all the effort that I actually put in, like that's like using Excel for the game limit is probably like the minimum for me. But like I just use the app and I like it's very painful. I would say like
I fucking hate that UI. It is just the website is slow. Like
it's so easy to get into a illegal lineup and then all your games that day don't count.
Oh, I know.
This is my second year using Fantrax and I still run into this issue all the time. Like I like kick myself. Like and it's like, cause it's like, it tells you very clearly why your lineup is illegal, but why are you letting me set up an illegal lineup? Like, cause I'm using the All-Star feature. Like, why are you even like, why did you set me an illegal lineup? Like,
I mean, at least for all of its faults, at least Yahoo doesn't allow you to set an illegal lineup,
Yahoo's auto-start feature is so good.
I know.
I mean, sometimes it like benches one of your better players, but like it's not a big deal.
On a full slate, then you just tweak it, but yeah.
But Fantrax, I really have a gripe. But I mean, I understand why a games limit was put, for competitive reasons. I mean, I wish it wasn't positional though. Like, just give me 40 flat. Just like play whatever 40 I want, and then because keeping track of all the positions is very difficult. And then like let's say like you're saving a center spot for Sunday, and then all of a sudden your center is injured that day, then you're fucked. Like because so that's annoying. But I think the format's good. I think having a deep bench is good, so there's less streaming. So that even when you're in my disengaged era, it doesn't really matter that much because like my bench is deep. Like no one's really streaming that much. And then I think it's a pretty good format. It's my second year playing. It was pretty fun.
Yeah. So do you set your 40 at the beginning of the week, or do you?
No, I kind of. It depends. It depends because I know that some weeks, what I do in the beginning of the week is I'll look at the schedule. Like, are there a lot of days in the week where they're very minimum? When I see like let's say a Thursday and there's like not a lot of games, then I make sure like I'm filling up on Mondays and Tuesdays. It really depends. Like you have to kind of I just eyeball it. I don't pull out an Excel spreadsheet to look at it, but I'll eyeball it and be like, does the beginning of my week have to be a heavy, or can I just kind of pick my best? Because like, when I was playing this last year, I ran into a lot of situations where I would just start my lineup, and then at the end, I didn't get to play like my top guys, and I'm like, I really have to actually like look at the schedule and then look at, does like my top picks have 2 games or do they have 4 games?
Right.
It's a lot easier when you're doing this on Excel, but when you're kind of just eyeballing it, it's a little bit
Yeah.
difficult. But like,
Well, at least Fantrax has that full week schedule view where you can see like basically a grid where all your top guys are they playing for or 2.
Yeah.
So are you, sorry, Kayla, I don't know if this is boring for you. This is all about this one league that we're in.
No, I love it. I love it.
But so do you look at your opponents' rosters when you decide? Well, obviously you're going to play your best guys, right? I got to be honest though, 2 weeks ago, I was benching all of my best centers because I was basically punting rebounds because I knew that was in a category that I could win. So then I was with the deep bench, I was basically able to like field a roster of like guards. And thank God I have Jalen Williams who's center eligible, but it was it was like these are like crazy weeks right now where I'm not even playing the full 40 because I want to win turnovers and like free throw percentage.
I would say that's one of the things I give up when I become disengaged. I when I'm engaged, I will go on Basketball Monster and I'll run like the projections and I'll see like, how do I stack up against this team? Yeah. I would say it's I don't actually make adjustments until like the midweek. Like, okay, how are my turnovers compared to like, theirs and like my field goal? Like Keontae George, I'm telling you, has made me rethink of like, do I start him today or do I not? Do I want to take a chance to get his threes, or do I risk losing turnovers because he might give me 6, or like he might go like 2 of 17 or something? Like he is, I think, the pinnacle of like having to decide, am I going to start him today? Because my God, he is like, you don't know. I was going to say you don't know what you're going to get. You actually, you kind of do know what you're going to get him, but are you going to take the chance to get those threes and those points and those assists in exchange for like, you are definitely like, you might get 5 turnovers from him and he might shoot 20% from the field. Like, these are the type of adjustments that I think I make later on in the week when I see it, and maybe it's too late. But again, like this is one of those things where like when I'm engaged and I'm like on top of it, I'm looking at like, hey, what's, because it's like very important to know what, especially in like leagues where people are veterans and they tend to have like builds and punts. Like, are we punting the same thing? Like, if it's punting the same thing, then I have to pivot to something else. But when I'm in disengaged, like that is probably one of the things that falls off in terms of like what I'm looking at week to week, because like, depends on how I'm feeling.
Yeah.
Are there any analysts? Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna ask, like, are there any analysts that you look to or follow like religiously for any advice?
Probably Josh. I mean, he's the biggest one. Like, I follow him on Twitter. I think he's really funny on Twitter. I watch some of his shows. I mean, he's definitely wrong sometimes, but I think he's like, he actually watches the games, and I think one thing that's really important for fantasy is that it's like fantasy is about the numbers and the things that you put up on the stats, and like you don't have to be good to put up stats, but like to do it long term, you actually have to be a positive on the basketball court. And so like he focuses on that aspect. Like, is this player actually good enough to stay on the court? Like maybe this guy is, like let's take like Andre Drummond for example. Like he might be able to give you a double, but like as a long term, like he's not good at basketball. Like even if when he's on the court he can give you those numbers, is he going to see the court? He like, I think Josh kind of gives that because he watches. Like I know he goes to Vegas every year to go watch summer league, so he watches like the prospects. So like, I mean, I think Josh was like one of the biggest like Yves Missy believer over the summer, and like Missy has played great this season. So like I appreciate his analysis because he's not like, I think he like watches basketball and he actually like does this player is he a positive on the court? Because even if they stuff the stat sheet, it doesn't matter, because like at a certain point they're not going to play if they can't contribute to winning. And so he focuses on that. He talks about that, and I think that's really helpful. Like I think besides Josh, for fantasy strictly, I don't really listen to anybody else. I mean, I follow people like there's like Ball Boys. I follow him on Twitter. I listen to some of his stuff. dynasty stuff. But I would say like I listen to a lot of basketball, like NBA podcasts. Fantasy a little bit less in terms of like media, but like whatever's going on Twitter, like I'm probably following it.
What basketball podcast do you listen to?
I listen to a lot of Plus Minus. If Warriors fans know, I anytime I have like notifications, so I always listen to them.
That's like Tim Kawakami, right?
Yeah, with Marcus and Anthony Slater.
Yeah, the beat guys.
They just moved off of The Athletic, actually, so you no longer even need a subscription to listen to them. So they're
good.
great. They have so many connections with the team, front office, players. So it's always very insightful to listen to that. That's like my morning drive podcast listen.
Have you guys ever listened to Ben Taylor's Thinking Basketball? Ever heard of him?
Nope.
He's an interesting one. I'm not really one for like basketball podcasts. Just like for me, it's like when I get verbal information, it's in one ear and right out the other. So like I really got to be focused. Like if it's fantasy, like I'll pay attention more. But like when it's other kind of podcasts, I can't really listen. But like with Ben Taylor, he's actually really good and he's very analytical, and he'll really like break down like a team or a player or an issue or things like that. It's been a minute since I've listened to him, but he's a good one to check out.
I'll check it out.
Is it just like basketball, or does it have a fantasy lens to it?
Just basketball, yeah. Unless he switched over recently, because it's been like a long time since I've listened, but usually it's just like basketball. Yeah, he was a good one.
Kayla.
Oh my God,
Somebody
Chauncey.
making an appearance.
I love him. He's so adorable.
Oh, nice one.
Look
Good
at
meowsy.
Do you have any pets, Bethany?
I have a dog.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I am thinking about getting cats, but I am super allergic to cats, so I have to figure out how I'm going to deal with that. I'm also allergic to dogs, but I'm slightly more allergic to cats. But yeah, I do want to adopt some cats.
Yeah,
I know you have like 4, Yuri, like 4 of them.
I got 4 cats. Four cats. Yeah, cats in Oakland, literally. I like No Dunks because it's fun and they've been around forever. And
back when they were on YouTube.
Yeah, and they're just like they watch basketball and they just love basketball so much and love the players, everything about it. Like I think they're the best like 360 basketball where they just like they're all about the culture and everything, the fandom and just goofy stuff too. Yeah, they're just really fun. So I probably listen to them more than anything other than the fantasy pods. Yeah. Hoops. What do you think about Bitches Be Ballin', Bethany?
Like the initiative?
Do you think we're adding this podcast, do you think we're adding anything to the whole like landscape? Like
I think so. I'm a huge believer in like representation. Like in terms of like women being in like male dominated spaces. Like I love it. I think it's very important that we have representation because like when you see someone who like looks like you or like similar background as you, like being a woman in a male dominant space, it's like I think it's so helpful. I think it's very important for like nurturing like this environment because I think like it's very easy for women to be turned off by sports, fantasy. You can be dismissed fairly easily. I think when you see people who are doing things that you want to do, I think it helps a lot mentally for people, especially like I speak as someone who's involved in a lot of hobbies that are male dominated. Like when you see someone, like when you see another girl, like you're like I want to be friends with them, like because it's hard, it's difficult, and I work in a male dominated space, and like I know people who are telling me like it's really important. Like when I work in tech and I work in engineering, and we don't have a lot of female engineering managers, and so when you see one, like it's like you can set that as your goal, right? Like you can like visualize it, because when you see just men, like you're like, ah, you're just another man, right? Like, but when you see a woman, it's like, as a woman, you're like, wow, like you can think of it as like that's an actual like tangible thing that you can reach, so like, bring it back to fantasy, it's like women might be more inclined to listen to analysis or like news like from other women, just because it feels more close to home, I guess.
Yeah.
So I think it's great. I think it's really important.
I love
All
that. That's like one of
right.
our biggest goals at BBB, right? Just trying to create that kind of community. And I
Mhm.
totally
Yeah.
understand like where you're coming from too, because like when I went on Blue Sky, I started noticing like all these females talking about fantasy basketball, and I was like, holy fucking shit. Like there's so many women out there who play. And like I just want to bring everyone into this like BBB
You
community,
should.
and it's
Yeah.
amazing. And like I honestly
Yep.
like I think it's going to grow considerably over the
Yep.
next few years. And
Isn't
it's
I
amazing.
noticed
We're
that
looking forward
too.
to it.
Isn't that crazy that Blue Sky actually delivered a For You feed of like all of these women basketball nerds that I would are obviously on X too, but I just would never see them because their algorithm's so
Exactly.
fucked up. It's like it's crazy. Like where have these ladies been all my life, but super funny, really nerdy, like yeah, I'm into Blue Sky and what they're doing. You just
Mhm.
their algorithm alone is just way more, I don't know, engaging.
I
Yeah,
gotta
it's
check
So
it
exactly
out.
like you said. Yeah.
I have
You're
it
not on Blue Sky?
downloaded. No, I have
Mhm.
it downloaded. I have an account. I scroll Twitter a lot, so I haven't like
well, you can do that with Blue Sky too, and it's
yeah,
like
I
way more
haven't like
quality.
mentally like adjusted my muscle memory to go on Blue Sky
Mhm.
instead. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just so funny though to see like the contrast between the two, because it's like you said, like when you go on Twitter, you don't really see like what you see on Blue Sky with a bunch of women just tweeting about their fantasy teams and things like that. So I was honestly really surprised to to see the amount of women who were talking about that, because like you never see that on Twitter. Like I don't think I saw like one thing. Honestly, like Yuri, I saw you quite a bit because I know like in the like you would comment a lot on like Josh's podcast, Dan's too, I think. So I that's how I knew about
Oh, on
you.
Twitter?
But like on Twitter, yeah. But
Yeah.
then aside from that, like nothing.
Yeah.
And it's the
So,
algorithm.
so there's this woman that was on Twitter that said something about, that whole discourse around why the NBA viewership numbers down. Is it because there's too many threes and like all that shit? Right. And this one woman said something about it, and Kevin Durant retweeted her and said, I agree. Basically saying that like the NBA is a quality product and people just need to just watch it to see it. And
Mhm.
then I was just like, went down the rabbit hole of this woman's Twitter feed, and she's just like a total basketball nerd. Her takes are like really good though. So I was like, Kayla, you got to message her to see if she'll come on the pod, because we just need to like celebrate and like bring voice to those ladies that are out there and that are just have a really good perspective on things that isn't full of like fucking asshole takes, and anyway, it was great that KD kind of brought her into the spotlight a little
Is
bit.
she the Pacer fan? Is it Caitlin Cooper?
No,
I
she's
don't think that's her
I
name.
think she's a
Oh,
Lakers fan.
oh, Caitlin Cooper is also like she's a Pacers fan, and she does a ton of Pacers analysis, and it's also very insightful. Like she's also one of the ladies that I follow on Twitter, and she always
I
has
think her
great
name was
basketball insight.
Okay, her name is Betsy.
Betsy. That's it.
Yeah, Betsy. Yeah, it's crazy that she was reposted by Kevin Durant. That's amazing.
And I think it's awesome that he did that.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's a huge thing. Yeah, we definitely got to get her on the pod though if we can.
Let me see. She doesn't say what fan or what team she follows.
Yeah, she said
She's got a
Raiders,
picture of,
but football.
yeah, Raiders Nation. private equity nerd by day, unbiased NBA fan, only tweet about basketball. And she kind of takes about all sorts of teams, so it's kind of great. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
Knicks.
Yeah, she has
She
amazing
said
content.
she's lived in LA, Chicago, Philadelphia, and NY. Now she's in NYC. Yeah, I like it.
Amazing.
I mean, what's your take on the viewership being down, Bethany?
I think one of you on the Bitches Be Balling Twitter had tweeted this about, it's very hard to watch your home games. Like,
Yep.
like I think that contributes a lot to it. Like, I know a lot of people who watch it illegally because there's just there is no affordable way of doing it. Like, YouTube TV just increased their monthly price to $83 a month. Like, it's that or it's cable. Like that, those are the only two ways that you can watch your local team. Because if you get League Pass and you want to watch your local team, you can't because there's blackout, to protect the local TV station or whatever. Like, that's ridiculous. Like cable is cumbersome. Like, you have to get people out here to come in and install. Like, and cable is expensive. And like, I don't watch TV. The only TV I watch is basketball, and it's my own team. Like how many people realistically want to pay $83 a month to watch YouTube TV? Like, it's ridiculous. Like, so then, and there's so much streaming. So what do people do? They just fuck to streaming, and like, that's it. Like, that's what they're gonna do. So I totally agree with whichever one of you tweeted that, because like that's really true, and I see
it was me because it was like,
yeah, that was Yuri.
Yeah, the Warriors. It's like you can't. I got rid of Comcast, and then I'm like, how am I going to watch Warrior games? Oh, I got to fucking subscribe to Hulu now. So I already had YouTube TV because I thought, I'm covered with League Pass and stuff. And then I'm like, oh fuck, now I got to do Hulu too to watch Warrior games. And then when I'm up here in Portland, I can't watch Blazer games. So it's all fucked up. And I know the San Antonio market's the same, and it's messed up. Like, your own home fans, you're making it so hard to watch your team's games. So that's a big ass problem. Do you ever listen to games?
No. When I'm in the car, I will put on the actual game and then listen to it, which is not the best because actually it doesn't give as much play-by-play as like the radio, as Tim Roy for the Warriors. But I don't listen to the radio.
You'd rather fucking listen to Kalena and Bob than listen to Tim Roy? Shame on you, Bethany.
That's a really good point. I'm going to be honest. It's probably because I don't know how to. I don't know how to set the AM on my car. I'm going to be honest. Like, it's easier just to put on YouTube TV and then let the audio play. But Bob and Kalena, I am not going to express my opinion on them.
Shameful. Here. I'll say it. It's shameful. We have one of the best teams, a dynasty team, and we have the worst TV commentating team. They're a fucking joke. They are literally a joke. Tim Roy, though, is like fucking top tier play-by-play guy. And when he's paired with Tom Tolbert for home games, perfection. Chef's kiss, perfection. Yeah, it's I think it's shameful. But what are you gonna do? Because there's so many great commentating teams out there. Like, I love the Knicks. I love Brooklyn. Like, there's a lot of women men pairs that I think are really good, and we should have a lady, with someone else, not with either Bob or Kalena, but just. Yeah, I miss Jim Barnett. Like, Jim Barnett and a lady would be rad.
Kalena doesn't give that much analysis. Like, how many times does he say tornado move for every spin move that they do? The only thing he talks about is split action. Bob, I actually think Bob is a little overhated. I think he's good at the play-by-play, and then everything else he's just. I think he like commentates very well, but I think his personality is kind of. It's hard to listen to for an extended period of time, but I think he's a little bit overhated.
He was better paired with Jim.
Yeah,
he got worse when he got paired with Kalena.
Yeah, like he was. Yeah, now he copies Kalena and says like tornado move. Like for anytime someone does a spin move, it's a tornado move, and I'm like, just please stop. Like, and then like when Eric like Pascal was on the team, like they call him like Pasc Animal or something, and I'm like, please just like,
oh
just
god,
stop.
yeah,
or like Steph's nickname, like Bob called him like the Human Torch, and I'm like, that's so bad. Like, anyways, that's it. That's all I'm gonna say.
I have to say the Raptors broadcasting is like really good. Like Jack Armstrong, Matt Devlin. There's even Kayla great too.
They're great.
They're fantastic. Every time I hear "get that garbage out of here," like I get chills. Like it's so good. So no complaints in Toronto. Like they're fantastic.
Jealous.
Yeah. Oh my god,
but
Josh's
cameo.
Josh's cameos that he hired Jack Armstrong to do for him. He did like 4 takes and he puts them in there, and like sometimes he puts them in like sequentially, and it's just the most hilarious thing ever because it's like this old man like just saying that over and over again. So when do you think you're gonna get a little uptick swing, Bethany, in the season? I think I ran like projections in the Lockdown League that we're in together, and it projected your team to be one of the top finishing teams. I
am like maybe 4th in my league right now. Let me see. Let's see. Actually, I'm not doing too bad in the Lockdown League. Let me see. 67-58. It's like really tight. Like between me and 4th place right now is like 3 games. So like 4, 5, 6, and 7 are all really close. Even 8 is really close. But it's like right now I would say like I'm in a disengaged mode because of the NBA Cup. Like the schedule is just so bad. Like there's so much, because there's like less games being played. There's so much more variance, right? Like you might lose to an objectively worse team just because of how the scheduling is done. And like maybe one of your top guys, like maybe they only play once that week and they don't have like they have a below average game, then your week is done, right? So like because of the variance due to the NBA Cup, like and then also because like Yahoo like last week had the 2 weeks combined, and then now Fantrax has some of the weeks combined, and it's like, let's just get back to the regular schedule. I think to answer your question, I think once the NBA goes back to a regular schedule, then I'm like, okay, let me catch up on the leagues that I need to catch up, and we'll go from there. Because right now, like today, nothing counts. Like I'm just like, what's the point of this week, anyways? Like even if we go back to a normal schedule, like on Friday, like what's the point? Like I'm calling it this week.
Yeah.
I hate it too when like there's like 14 or 15 games in one night.
I fucking
or there's only like 1 or 2. Like give me 6 to 8 per night. I think that's a decent amount right there. I don't want less. I don't want more. That's it. Like just keep it balanced.
6 to 8 is perfect. Perfect.
Yeah, because like when there's too many, it stresses me out. Like there was that I think 1 or 2 days this season so far where there was 14 or 15 teams playing or games playing, and I was like, no.
No, the guy you bench is always going to go off. That's how it works.
That honestly, yeah, every single time. It doesn't matter who it is, they will go off. You can't win.
I think I benched Keontae and he went for like 30, and I'm like, of course.
It's like they know too. Honestly, they're just out to get your fantasy team.
He was such a headache for me. I dropped him from all my teams. Keontae, really? I was just like, I can't.
I was like, you can only go up from here, right? Like,
I guess that's what I'm saying about Fred VanVleet right now. Jesus Christ! I think I'm going to bench him in our league.
He's always been overdrafted.
On the full slate game or full slate days. I'm thinking about benching him. I mean, can I just say, because I know she listens to the pod. So we combined we're in a Yahoo league, so last week and the last 2 weeks were combined, and so I added I didn't have to, evidently. I mean, I don't know how many except for Emma maxed out on, but I added 5 more moves so that we had 10 moves for the 2 weeks, and I only used like 3 of those moves, but Emma, because she had like a bunch of injured guys out, when I did my matchup projection on Basketball Monster at the beginning of the matchup, I was like, I think I can beat Emma pretty handily. And then she proceeded to fucking stream her ass off, and she had 12 more games than me over the course of the matchup because she used all 10 moves and streamed guys in, and she beat me 5-4, and it was down to the wire in like 1 or 2 categories, but she beat me. And I'm like looking at games played, I'm like, fuck, she had 12 games over me. What the fuck happened? Like, I just asleep at the wheel. But I will just say now that it is possible to just work that stream and win your matchup. But it's only possible when you have a bunch of injured guys out, because otherwise, like, you're dropping probably quality guys to win your matchup.
I mean, I think that's why you kind of in your draft strategy, like if it's your last pick, you might as well reach for someone, like not pick someone that is not bad enough to drop but not good enough to keep it, like that kind of thing. You kind of want to reach on someone because, like, in one of my leagues, I play in an auction keeper league, and so my auction strategy has always been like even across the board, like never, like not stars and scrubs. So like I kind of like to go even and have a very balanced team. And one of the issues that I've run into is like I don't have a guy that I can drop. Like all of these guys are like, in terms of like auction value, is like maybe like at least $3, $5, and like I don't have any like $1 guys where I can just like switch in and out. So that's a learning experience for me. But like, I think analysts talk about this a lot, but like, and when you're drafting, like reach for a guy. Like it's okay to have a streaming spot because then you don't need injuries to give yourself an excuse to like stream more games. But yeah, it's not like
more fun. It's more fun to have. I always have at least 2 streaming spots on my team because I just love to stream and it's just fun. But like, yeah. 10 moves. That's a lot of moves.
I saw it and I was like,
that's working the wire right there.
Working
that's
it.
impressive.
But she's in her engaged era.
She is
very engaged. Yeah.
But you know what? That's like a positive thing about injuries, because I feel like when you start seeing like your star players injured, that's when you start getting really discouraged. But like, look at Emma's case, where it really allows you to work the wire, get some good pickups, and you could still win. I mean, it's not a death sentence for you when you have injuries. Yeah, it's going to hurt you a bit, but I mean, you got to look at the positive side of it too. And that's what Emma did.
She fucking did, man. It was great. Great to see.
That's a good matchup. And we're playing each other this week.
We are.
I think you're beating me right now.
Yeah. Or no,
wait.
Big Vic Energy.
Yeah, Big Vic Energy.
Yeah, no, Tyrese Pieces is
D-Max League. Yeah.
Is D-Max League, which like I showed you, we're projected to
top.
be 1 and 2, yo.
Yeah, girl power right there. No surprise, of course. Top 2.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm fighting for playoffs.
Of course, one of the commissioner gets first pick. No big.
Yeah, right. I'm actually like looking at trade scenarios the last 2 weeks because it's been really slow and it's kind of an ideal time to trade. And I'm like running trade scenarios between me and Kayla's team, and I'm like, I don't see anything that's great, but even if there was, like, would people think we're colluding because we're trading with each other?
That's the thing. People thought I rigged the duck race, and I was like, no, it's an algorithm. I literally just put everyone's names in, and it just happened. I was in last for most of the race. I got the footage.
Yeah. I mean, Villanova is she's freaking tough, man. I mean, her team is so good. But yeah,
everyone drafted really well. It's going to be tough out there.
Yeah, it is.
Man, this league is competitive. Like I'm in 12th, but like I'm 5 games out of playoffs. So it's certain. I need to get engaged again because this.
Get engaged, Bethany. We need you locked in, baby.
Someone needs to remind me, like in the summer next year, to not join so many leagues because like
I'll remind you. Although we want to do WNBA next year.
Yeah, I'm really
ESPN.
hoping it moves to Yahoo because I know they have WNBA on ESPN, and I'm like an ESPN hater. Like I cannot play on ESPN.
You can do fan tracks though, right?
Do they have it on Fantrax?
I thought it
Well,
was
I
just
think you'd have to
ESPN.
do a custom league. Can't you
Mm.
like import all the players and stuff? I don't know. Anyway,
Yeah,
we're
I
gonna
feel like
do it.
yeah,
And it's not during the NBA season, so it should be doable
that makes
for
it
us.
easier. Yeah.
All right, so I think we are ready for badass bitch of the week, right?
Yes.
We heard you have a
Yep.
pick.
Yeah, so my pick is Tara Vanderveer, ex head coach of the Stanford women's basketball team. The reason why I picked her for obvious reasons, she's like, greatest of all time college coach, like regardless of gender. But one of my coworkers sent me a link earlier this week, and it was Stanford is hosting like some sort of like basketball like course, and Tara Vanderveer is the one that's like doing all of it. Like she's the one that's like she's gonna be like lecturing on the history of basketball and like how to analyze the game, and then she's gonna have a lot of guest speakers. So like Steve Kerr is gonna be on there. I think some of the Valkyries leadership and coaching staff is gonna be on there. I think she's great. I really hope that she gets involved in the Valkyries in some capacity. I think she's a real badass, and I think that it's sad that she retired, but she probably, she's won enough in her life. So
Damn.
That's a great pick, and that's an awesome thing that she's doing too.
yeah.
So-
Okay. Well, the course is like $500 to do, and it's like
so
pretty
anybody
expensive.
can.
Yeah. So anybody. It's like it's through Stanford, but anybody can just join. So
Holy
it's
shit.
pretty interesting.
pretty cool.
I would say. And I was like telling my coworker, I'm like, she can't stay away from the game. Let me see. Let me look it up right now.
Can you send share the link in our Discord?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
Awesome.
It's called Basketball a Masterclass. Oh, it's closed because they hit the limit already on people.
Oh damn. No surprise. I'm sure there was a
Yeah.
lot of people trying to do it.
Yeah, like Jennifer Az is gonna be there, is gonna speak. Yeah, like a lot of interesting people. But yeah, I picked her because of this and for a bunch of reasons, obviously. But let me send the link right here because it is pretty interesting.
That's awesome.
Good
Thanks for your pick.
pick. A legend in the game.
Yep.
Well, Kayla, do you have any parting thoughts?
That's all for me. I gotta go see this game after.
Yeah, I know. I gotta watch second half.
I'm hoping the Thunder win. So that's my final thought for the day.
Me too. What about you, Bethany?
I'm rooting for the Thunder.
Yeah, West Coast, baby.
I hope they win a championship within the next 3 years. I think if Chet comes back, I just love the way they draft. Like even like this year they picked AJ Mitchell. Like everyone they pick is just good. Like even at the end.
Don't you think they'll be in the Western Conference Final this week or this year?
Hopefully, I think they win one in the next 3 years. Like,
yeah,
I can see that.
They need to do it before like Jalen Williams and Chet get off their rookie salary, because then once that happens, then who's getting the max? And then like the last time this happened, the team broke up. So
right.
They gotta do it while these guys are on rookie contracts, because and they can. I think they can do it.
Yeah,
definitely possible. They got such a good and strong team. So I love watching them. They're just fantastic.
They're so fun to watch. Yeah,
right? Especially Shay, and he's Canadian too, so that's a bonus.
Oh, I want to get Bethany's thoughts on Dennis Schroeder.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, like beggars can't be choosers. We could use anything right now. Like we could use some scoring, we could use some defense. Like we could use just give us anybody that can put the ball in the bucket. I don't know. I'm a huge Brandon Podziemski fan, but he's been so bad this year. So like, I am a little bit disappointed because Schroeder's fantasy value is going to drop, and I picked him up in a lot of leagues. Like he was one of my sleeper picks towards the end of a lot of rounds. I was trying to in a
Do
dynasty
you think
league,
it is though?
I think it is.
I
Like
think it's gonna hurt him.
like I think any non-star player in a curse system is like playing time is gonna be like unpredictable. Like he might play 30 minutes one night, he might play 15. I don't trust Kerr to give someone not named Stephen Curry like consistent minutes. Like it just doesn't happen. Like he just
Did you see hear Draymond's comments about Schroeder though? He said that we're gonna he's not a guy that we would have normally gone after, but
I heard that on the podcast.
It's why he's different is why we got him, and it's gonna be us that's adjusting to him, not him adjusting to us.
We'll see. I mean, part of Schroeder's value this year was that he was getting a lot of assists. So I don't know if that keeps up because like the offense is not gonna like even if even if he gets the ball a lot, I think like assists is still like Draymond. Like Draymond's gonna be at the top of the key running the action. So like I think his value in fantasy is gonna drop. Like I was trying to sell high on him in a dynasty league. Like, hey, give me a draft pick, and then now I can't do it anymore because he won't. I don't think he's gonna get his stats like he was in Brooklyn. Like I think maybe the efficiency will stay the same, but I think points is probably gonna drop a little bit, and I think assists is gonna take a dip.
Yeah, I guess it depends on the rotations because, I mean, now Draymond's been coming off the bench a couple times and, like, he's been scoring more and I think he's assisting a little bit less. So I don't know if, like, the plan is to have Schroeder and I think the plan is to have Schroeder start, but is Draymond then going to start too? Because he has been coming off the bench.
I don't know. That's another thing.
I don't know.
Kerr is very matchup based too. Like he'll switch up the starting lineup out of like you. I just don't think you can predict anything with Kerr. Like he's not Tom Thibodeau where he just runs his guys 40 minutes a night. Like so I'm
excited. Yeah. I'm excited to see what happens though, because
it's a change.
We
need a change. The team is pretty. It's a hard watch, not because they're bad, but because it's frustrating.
It's an interesting real life move.
Bethany. Like games, we give up games, and at the very end of the game, we can't fucking close it out. We are terrible at the end of games now.
Kayla, what do you mean by a real life move?
It's just from a real life thing, yeah. But like from a fantasy perspective, like it sucks to see. Like it's really going to impact Pajemski, Healed, and they've been disappointing. But like it just brings them down even more. Even Schroeder too. Like he was fantastic. Like even like me and DMAC would always talk about him like on our Sell High show. And now you're like you said, you're not going to be able to do that.
This reminds me. So once Schroeder was traded, there was someone on Reddit that was like, pick up Shake Milton because he's going to get more playing time. And then so a bunch of people did, and then he had a horrible last game. I didn't even want to check because I remember scrolling on Reddit, and someone was like, you better keep your eye open to the guy that like recommended him. So like Shake Milton must have had a horrible game, but like I haven't even looked at his stat line because I'm scared because I did pick him up in a league to stream, but yeah, that's like consequential. Like the guards in Brooklyn are going to get more time, like Ben Simmons, but like we'll see what happens because it's like Shake Milton just gave us a horrible game. Apparently, I'm too scared.
Yeah, and I think he only played like 15 minutes too. It wasn't good. I thought Shake would benefit a little bit more. I don't really see him as like a must-add kind of guy. I already have him in a couple leagues, so I'm just gonna hang on to him, see what happens. Especially with Ben Simmons too.
He played 17 minutes. He went 2 for 9. No stocks, 1 assist. Thank you, Shake.
Yeah, I'm a Ben Simmons believer. I already had him in a couple leagues. Yeah, because he gives me like out of position rebounds and tons of assists, good field goal percentage. So maybe a couple defensive stats every now and again, but I'm happy I had him. I don't know.
I like him more in a points league just because like the efficiency doesn't really matter as much. The turnovers, it's the same kind of thing. But like, he'll still give you some stocks. He's good in the primary category. So I think his value is a bit better there.
And he's got that weird PG center eligibility.
Yeah. I think he started at point guard in the last game too, which was interesting.
Yeah, he's starting at point guard. All right. Well, Bethany, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having
It
me.
was great to have you.
You're
Yeah.
one of our OG league managers that joined the league, and
Mhm.
really glad to have you
I thought I was
on.
like the last one. That might have been the last one to fill it.
Because I found you in that lockdown, and that was when I was just starting to try and find women out there.
Mhm.
I think you told me you had one more. I think so, is what you told me, that you needed one more. I don't know.
I
Well,
don't
I
know.
can't remember.
it doesn't matter.
Anyway,
It doesn't matter because you're here, you're in the league,
you're
Yeah.
part of the
and that's
family
all that
now.
matters.
You're stuck with us. All right. Well, Kayla, let's not get caught.
Let's keep going.